From a look inside Conor's true motivations and mindset to a confident prediction from the Notorious himself, Sean O'Malley leaks that Conor McGregor only challenges fighters he can beat. Imagine you're an MMA fan following the latest news about your favorite fighters, and one day you come across a shocking claim by Sean O'Malley, who says that the notorious Conor McGregor only picks opponents that he knows he can beat. Suddenly, the image of McGregor as an invincible warrior before the leg injury is called into question, and you begin to wonder about the true motivations and mindset of this famous fighter. Well, there's no need to imagine because it actually happened. Later this year, after coaching on season 31 of The Ultimate Fighter, Conor's set to fight former three-time Bellator lightweight champ Michael "Iron" Chandler. There's been no official date confirmed for when McGregor will return to the UFC, and his absence from the U.S. anti-doping agency's testing pool is only complicating things even further. He must be in the pool for a minimum of 6 months before he's eligible to compete, meaning October or November is the earliest he can return. When Dana White appeared on the Pat McAfee show, he talked about Conor and said, "We're still working on that and figuring that out." There's a lot of work to do on the Conor fight. It's been 2 to 3 years since we've seen McGregor in the ring, and Chandler's stats prove that he's no slouch, so it won't be a cakewalk for Conor. Chandler's one of the best MMA fighters in the world today, and is currently ranked number 5 in the UFC's lightweight division. He has an impressive record of 23 wins and 8 losses, with 11 of those wins coming by knockout and 7 by submission. Chandler's known for his incredible knockout power, with a punching technique that has left many opponents on the mat in just seconds. He also has exceptional defensive capabilities, able to take a hit and quickly recover while maintaining his composure. His strategic mind is another key aspect of his fighting style, and gives him not only the ability to read his opponents, but make calculated moves to exploit their weaknesses. Chandler's fighting style is a combination of wrestling, grappling, and striking, which makes him a versatile fighter who can adapt to any opponent, and his superior takedown defense allows him to keep the fight standing so he can strike his way to victory. He tends to use short offensive trades and a wide-bladed stance that makes his linear movement quick and efficient, helping him to get in and out of range with ease, with the hopes that his opponents will overextend. And when they do, bam! With a style that's very similar to that of a boxer, Chandler can get in close, take his opponents by surprise, and use his jab to set up his big right hand. The in-and-out jabbing disguises Chandler's quick 1-2 combinations, and his crafty foot and handwork conceal his explosive bursts. He tends to be most effective in the mid-range and hopes that his striking will pressure his opponents against the cage, where he can do some real damage. Let's not forget that Chandler holds an insane amount of records, including the Fight of the Year in 2021 against Justin Gaethje, currently ranked number 3 in the lightweight division, and the Knockout of the Year in 2022 against Tony Ferguson. He'd definitely be a formidable opponent for the Notorious, who made huge waves in the UFC. Conor's known for his impressive record, multiple titles in MMA, a larger-than-life personality, and cocky attitude. He's also an entertainer, famous for some of the most insane trash talk the UFC has ever seen. He's the biggest pay-per-view draw in MMA history and headlines the 5 highest-selling UFC pay-per-view events. His record boasts 22 wins and 6 losses, with 19 of those wins coming by way of TKO or KO. He's held multiple titles in the UFC, including the featherweight and lightweight belts, cementing his status as a top fighter in the sport. McGregor is famous for his striking ability, particularly his left hand, and his fighting style is a mix of boxing and kickboxing, which he's honed through years of training and practice. In addition to his striking, McGregor's also a skilled grappler, with a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's put his grappling skills on display in several fights, including his submission win over Dave Hill. McGregor's fighting style is characterized by his precision striking and his ability to control the pace of the fight. He's a master of distance management, using his reach advantage to keep his opponents at bay before unleashing a barrage of strikes. But his previous injury has raised questions about his future in the sport. In July of 2021, McGregor faced off against Dustin Poirier in a highly anticipated trilogy fight. And in the first round, McGregor suffered a horrific leg injury. He broke his tibia, which forced him to withdraw from the fight, and it was a major setback for him. He had to undergo surgery and an extended period of physical therapy, Clearly, a Conor versus Michael matchup would make for an exciting main event on any card and would likely get fans cheering on their feet, but what are the stakes? The fight would be a massive win for Chandler, regardless of whether he wins or loses. When he was one of Bellator's best fighters, he would have never dreamed of getting a matchup like this. But he kept grinding and got the next thing. Chandler was able to knock out former lightweight champion Benson Henderson. And if he beats Conor, Chandler will take the top spot in the lightweight division, making him one of the biggest stars in the weight class. For McGregor, a win over Chandler would be his best victory since he TKO'd Eddie Alvarez to win the lightweight title. It would immediately thrust his career back into the stratosphere and show people that even after a gruesome injury, Conor can bounce back and beat a top 5 fighter. Who knows, a title shot could be in the cards, but why is McGregor only fighting the 5th best fighter? No disrespect to Chandler, but if Conor really wanted to make a splash in the UFC pond, you'd think he'd try to fight someone who's at least in the top 3. Poirier is currently ranked number 2, and a rematch with the man who broke his leg and beat Chandler seems like a perfect match. So is McGregor worried about his performance? Or is he choosing a fighter he knows he can beat? Speaking on his Bromley show, Sean O'Malley, aka Sugar, said, Conor, and rightfully so, only fights people he sees himself beating. His whole career he's been very smart. He's like, I know I can beat this guy. I'll fight this guy. He's fighting Michael Chandler for a reason. Chad Mendes, he's fought a lot of these guys, but Michael Chandler is dangerous, though. O'Malley goes even further, suggesting that McGregor is using banned substances and saying, will McGregor get the title shot? It's hard to say. He's on, obviously. It's not a prize. It's clear. It looks like that's what TJ Dillashaw's doing. It looks like that might be what Darren Till's doing by retiring. Regardless, I'm excited to watch him fight. Even Gaethje versus Conor. There's fights at 55, if he can even get down to 55 anymore.
We'll see how that plays out. Regardless, excited to watch him fight. Just God, even Gaethje versus Conor. There's fights at 55, if he can even get down to 55 anymore.
On the My Mom's Basement podcast with Robbie Fox, the Notorious said, for Chandler, I'm just too slick for him. I'm just too skilled for him. He hasn't fought someone like me. I have fought someone like him, though. It's, in general, the mixed martial arts style, right? That kind of short wrestler. It's kind of like MMA, isn't it? It ain't nothing peculiar. I fought against such fighters for many, many years. It'll be my job now on Fight Night to show the difference in level between me and him.
It'll be my job now on Fight Night to show the levels and show there is much, there's a much higher difference in skill level here, and that's it. So I'm excited to get going.
No matter what Sean or Conor say, I think we're in for an epic showdown with McGregor versus Chandler, and it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. So there you have it, fight fans. From a confident prediction from the Notorious to take a look inside Conor's true motivations and mindset, Sean O'Malley leaked that Conor McGregor only challenges fighters he can beat.